Call this meeting to order. The Laredo ISD public hearing. This is Monday, June the 13th. It is 5:17 p.m. We're in the Amber Yuri boardroom. And we have well, we're not going to do the pledge now, or you went?
Let's dispense of the pledge until the regular
Till
meeting.
the regular meeting. So we go to roll call.
Thank you. Dr. Celia Moreno,
Present.
Mr. Hector Noyola,
Here.
Mr. Jesus Martinez present, Mr. Jose Valdez,
Present.
Mr. Ricardo Garza,
Present.
Mr. Hector Garcia,
Present.
Mr. Jose Bar Perez.
Present.
Everybody's here, Madam President.
Thank you. Okay, for first item,
Thank you, Dr. Moreno. The item that we've come to discuss in our hearing is discussion and presentation of the 2016 turnaround plan for school improvement. The Texas Education Agency requires that we conduct a public hearing regarding our turnaround improvement plan. This is specifically for Figueroa High School, which has been categorized as chronically low
Figueroa Middle
performing.
School?
What did I say?
High school.
Figueroa Middle School, excuse me. Thank you, Dr. Moreno, for the correction. I appreciate it, the opportunity to get that straight. So this is for Figueroa Middle School. And at this time, I'll turn it over to our Director of Federal Programs to take us through our explanation and allow for comments or questions from the board and the public. Ms. Oralia Cortez is our Director of Federal Programs. Ms. Cortez?
Yes, good afternoon, members of the board, Dr. Nelson, and community members. Again, this is the Figueroa Middle School Campus Turnaround Plan. And House Bill 1842 requires that for any campus that has been rated unacceptable for 2 consecutive years, we must submit a campus turnaround plan. The turnaround plan was developed by the campus leadership team that consisted of administrators, teachers, coordinator of school improvement, myself, and our professional service provider. Now, the systemic root cause, after a lot of data analysis, it was determined that the root cause is a lack of a consistent system for planning, implementing, and monitoring instruction. And the turnaround initiative is implementing the teaming approach. Now, with this teaming approach, teachers will be assigned to a particular team. There will be the core content teachers, the special population teachers, counselor, and administrator. They will be in charge of 120 students that they will monitor throughout the year. Now, the outcomes will be that the team will plan as a core team to review student performance, attendance, discipline. They'll get to meet with parents, to hold parent conferences as a team, and also they'll plan with their content team to develop their instructional practices, strategies, lesson plans, and so forth. So now this process, this teaming approach, will create small learning communities where students will be able, the team will be able to address the academic needs, the social needs, emotional needs of the students. Also, the team members will be assigned roles and responsibilities. And of course, the administrators and instructional facilitator will provide guidance and support throughout. The school's vision, which the whole staff participated in developing the vision, will be communicated to all stakeholders. Also, there will be two-way communication for questions and input from all stakeholders. There will be parent meetings. There is one set for mid-year to review the progress of the plan. And this organizational structure there will be some roles and responsibilities assigned to administrators, master teachers, and there will be one assistant principal in charge of monitoring the plan. All administrators will monitor, but one assistant principal will be in charge of making sure that all the processes that were outlined in the plan are provided and done throughout the year. And there will be ongoing monitoring by administrators, district staff, including deans, myself, the program directors, and our professional service provider assigned to the campus. Now, the campus will use a variety of funds, local, state, and federal funds, to pay for extra duty pay for tutorials, for teachers to plan. In fact, they're starting this summer, for professional development, and for instructional materials. And there's a breakdown of how much more or less money will be spent during the next 2 years. Some of the capacity and resources that were requested, or additional staff requested, was 1 additional assistant principal, again, to help us monitor the implementation of the turnaround plan. And also, we are requesting 3 additional writing teachers so that we can include a writing course in 6th grade to improve the 7th grade writing scores. This was some information that was required by TEA, that we get input from parents, from the community. Prior to the development of the plan, we did hold a parent meeting, and also we posted we went through the Let's Talk application to request input from the community, and also feedback after the development of the plan. We posted the plan both in the district website, the campus website, and also we held a meeting with the parents to go over the plan. There was also a meeting with the CIC Campus Decision-Making Committee, with teachers, and again with parents and community. We are required to submit the feedback that was provided by the stakeholders. Here we have some of the comments that were provided by the parents, and most parents, what they are requesting is, of course, that the individual needs of their children are met, and that the school have more strict and consistent rules when it comes to discipline. Also, they would like more parental involvement, for them to be given more opportunities for parental involvement, and that there be more informative parenting sessions to help the parents. And overall, they were in agreement with the initiatives that were shared with the parents. From the teachers, again, they like the idea that they will get to plan as a core team and as a content team. They would like more immediate attention to disruptive students. They like the idea of having an administrator to monitor the plan, and they like the idea of would like for the planning sessions to begin in the summer, which is happening this summer. They would like for us to set higher student expectations, and they love the idea of having a writing course in 6th grade. And that is pretty much the plan. This turnaround plan will be implemented during the 2017 and 2018 school year.
Dr. Moreno, that concludes our presentation. Before we open it up to the public, we wanted to allow the trustees to offer any comments or questions.
Did I hear implementation is not this August, but
2016-17 and 2017-18 school year.
2 year, okay.
Yes, the next 2 years.
I do want to make just a quick comment, and I made it in curriculum, that, you know what, I want to congratulate the principal for, I know this is not in place yet, but he's been at the school 1 year, and he's implemented a lot of positive things for his teachers and his students and his parents. You see the reflection of his work in the number and the scores that are coming in, and you've seen the school take a complete turnaround. And I'm excited and I'm proud of the work that he did, and the teacher at that school, to bring them together to work on a common cause, which is getting our kids educated and get them to another level. And I see that happening. And again, in my behalf, I congratulate him. I said that publicly in the last meeting, for an outstanding job. And I know there's still more work to do, but we're in the right direction.
Thank you, sir.
any other
Thank you.
comments? Mr. Perez?
It's a wonderful plan on paper, and I hope that paper will be turned in and will be done as it is. Because somehow, we have a lot of support personnel that, for example, all the deans, all the master teachers, and I want to see them on campus, not just shooting from the office, because there's a lot of difference between the school and the people that are over here, that are deans, that they're the experts. But I want to see them on campus. I want to see that it's documented, that they go in and check what they're supposed to be doing and have them done. Because I know Dr. Nelson mentioned that sometimes he gives directions and it trickles down and doesn't get all the way down to the teachers or whoever is in charge. So I hope that the plan that we have is very well written, but we need to follow it up to the teeth so that we can progress in the educational grading and all these kinds of things, because we do have the support, we do have everybody, but sometimes we don't get there, especially the deans and the master teachers and all these kinds of things. Thank you, Doc.
Mr. Noyola?
Yes, I like the plan. I congratulate the teachers and the staff for implementing this plan, and now it's up to the teachers to execute and make it successful.
Thank you. Anybody else? Mr. Martinez?
Yes, when are you getting the new principal, Ms. Cerda?
You mean
I mean, new
assistant?
assistant principal. We're supposed to get a new assistant principal, an additional one, right?
Yes, sir.
We don't have it yet.
Not yet.
We should be getting it as soon as possible.
Right, they report in July.
In July? Okay. And are we having any movement between schools for teachers and other assistant principals that might, not be as strong as they should be for this school? I don't know if there's any plan of moving some of the administrators or teachers.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that would be important. And of course, I want to reiterate what Mr. Garcia said. Congratulations, Mr. Cerda, is super principal, and I think he'll do a good job, and I'm sure by now things have changed quite a bit, and I'm sure we'll do fine with the with this program.
Mr. Garza? Okay, Mr. Alves. Okay, do we have any comments from the public?
Nobody signed it.
We didn't have anybody sign, but there may be someone who has any comments to make. Anybody from the public? For or against the plan? Okay, we don't have any comments. Dr. Nelson, is there anything else?
No, sir. No, ma'am. Excuse me. Absolutely. We guys still got a lot of work to do. I agree with the sentiments expressed by our trustees, and Figueroa Middle School definitely is working very hard to get the kids where the kids deserve to be.
I think I would like to add that the comments made by the staff and the parents were both very much on target.
Yes, ma'am.
And they were real good comments. They are the kinds of things that we need, and it's really good to see that they too have focused on those, and they're out there for everybody else to notice.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
I move that we close the public hearing.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to close the public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting is closed. It is
you.
5:30. Right into it, yes. This is, we call the meeting to order, the Laredo ISD Board of Trustees, regular board meeting, Monday, June 13.
Josie.
It is 5:31 p.m. We're in the Amber Yeri Boardroom, 1620 Houston. And roll call,
Dr. Celia Moreno,
present.
Mr. Hector Noyola,
Here.
Mr. Jesus Martinez present, Mr. Jose Valdez,
Present.
Mr. Ricardo Garza,
Present.
Mr. Hector Garcia,
Present.
Mr. Jose R. Perez.
Present.
Everybody's present, Madam Chairman.
Thank you.
Dr. Moreno, may I continue with the veterans
Yes.
recognition?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Good afternoon, board members and Dr. Nelson. All hands are on deck for this tribute. This evening, we are recognizing Mr. Gabriel Lopez, who served with the United States Navy from 1987 to 2007. The Instructional Television Department, under the direction of Jeanette Martinez Vasquez, has a video on this outstanding, community-minded veteran. Lights, please.
The Laredo Independent School District recognizes the veterans who proudly and valiantly served in the military. Freedom is not free, so we pay tribute to our local veterans.
I started off as an aircraft mechanic. I was on board the USS America. We first deployed to Desert Storm in 1991, and consequently I stayed on platform on aircraft carriers. All my naval activities, all my duties were related to aircraft carriers, launching and recovering aircraft, fixing airplanes, loading ammunition on the jets, the F-18, the F-14 Tomcat, and also the Helos. Well, I always knew that since I was I attended McCollum High School in San Antonio, so I was part of the ROTC, junior ROTC, so I knew I was going to serve. I just didn't know which branch. Right after high school, I attended one semester in college, in Alamo College, and decided that that wasn't for me, so I joined and I would turn 19 while I was in the Navy, and I retired when I was 39. I'm very dedicated and very passionate about some of the subjects, the topics that I choose. I'm very dedicated, and I continue on the mission. I'm very steadfast on what I set to do. It's important because we have to instill to all of our children and to all the public in general the devotion to serve. I always say that there's more than one way to serve our country. You can be a teacher, you can be a post office, you can be whatever you want to do, a postal carrier, whatever it is that you want to do. There's more than one way to serve. But our duty, it's important because we have the right to vote, and that is very important to us, and we need to continue doing that. So we decided to form an association, and so we, out of a garage, while we were hanging out, we decided to form this group and to help other veterans. And we've done that through recognition. We've done everything from naming buildings to planting trees for fallen heroes. We pick every year we pick a LISG school, and we donate shoes to the kids. So that is the whole goal of the association, to get together and to give back to the community. Giving back to the community for us veterans, it's sort of a therapy for us. The same message that I tell my daughters, education pays off. And you can be whatever vocation you want to go into, whatever training you want to get to, whatever profession you want to get to, but if you set your mind and your heart, it will always be the best you can. Education pays off. It took me 19 years to get my bachelor's degree while I was in the service. But that's the choice that I made. Our children, our people who are getting ready to graduate, they have the luxury to choose whether or not to do it in 19 years or do it in 4 years. And that's still admirable on both ends.
Mr. Lopez, LISD thanks you for protecting our maritime superiority with the United States Navy. Would you please honor us by leading the Pledge of Allegiance?
Please face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I ask that you please remain standing for the national anthem, which will be performed by the Vidal M. Trevino School of Communications and Fine Arts Brass Ensemble under the direction of Mr. John Raymond. We thank our students Mario Valle, Jonathan Martinez, Tony Hernandez, Jose Ruiz, Marcos Cuellar, and Ernesto Pescador from Martin and Cigarroa High Schools, along with their band directors Servando Serna and Bobby Castro, and of course Mr. Ryman. Thank you for this beautiful national anthem, Mr. Ryman and students. Mr. Lopez, before you return to your seat, the LISD Board of Trustees would like to present you with a memento of tonight's recognition.
Board of Trustees recognizes Gabriel Lopez for his patriotic ideals, his selfless sacrifice, and service to this country in the United States Navy from 1987 to 2007. He achieved the rank of Petty Officer First Class and served in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Bosnia. This is presented to him on June the 13th, 2016.
Thank you again, Mr. Lopez. Would you like to say a few words?
To the board, thank you for having me. But before I say a few words, I would just like to ask for a moment of silence for the tragedy in Orlando, Florida. Thank you very much. It's a great honor for me to accept this award. Those of you that have seen me out there on the streets in Laredo advocating for veterans benefits know how passionate I am about this. I only spent 20 years in the military, so it's kind of hard to get it out of me. But my message to the students is primarily again, education pays off in more than monetary terms. Education pays off because it broadens your ideas, and it makes you stand for what you believe in. And in my case, I believe in Laredo, I believe in my community, and I believe that we can make a positive change. Thank you very much.
Congratulations. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Dr. Moreno, may I continue with the special observances? Under special observances, you may be seated. Yes, please. Under special observances, Osvaldo Cavazos passed away on May the 25th, 2016. He worked for LISD for 28 years as a custodian at J.C. Martin Elementary School, and he retired in 2008. Mr. Florentino de los Reyes died on May the 27th, 2016. He worked for LISD for 19 years, and he was a custodian at H.B. Zachary Elementary School, and he retired in 2000. LISD sends its heartfelt condolences to the Cavazos and de los Reyes families. May we please have a moment of silence in memory of Mr. Cavazos and Mr. de los Reyes. Thank you. May I continue with this board recognitions? Yes, okay. This evening, LISD is pleased to recognize a talented group of employees, 25 student volunteers, innovative teachers and principals, our top accelerated readers, our musically talented students, and 2 schools that met their daily student attendance goals this year. First, we have the LISD Tax Office, which we are proud to announce and congratulate tonight for their recent achievement in having the highest property tax collections at 97.53% during the 2015 fiscal years. Currently, this year, the tax office has collected $28,703,165 in property taxes, which is an increase of over $2.7 million from the prior fiscal year. Local tax collections directly affect state funding, which can bring us additional tens of millions of dollars for our children's education. Here representing the tax office is Rudy Sanchez, Director of Tax Collections, and members of his staff, which I will introduce. Please come forward. Office Manager, Ms. Judy Dovalina, Office Manager. Bookkeeper, Avelina Rodriguez. Head Cashier, Melissa Gaitan. Property Tax Analyst, Karina de la Rosa. And we have our cashiers, Sandra Perez. Elidia Tijerina. Rosalinda Sainz. And our security guard, Mr. Juan Cárdenas. Also joining us for the photos is our Chief Financial Officer, Ms. Flor Ayala. Congratulations. Congratulations to Mr. Sanchez and his very hardworking staff.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Next, we have 25 student volunteers who are IRS certified. This year, the students provided free tax assistance for citizens filing their 2015 income tax returns through the VITA program. The career and technical education students, under the supervision of their financial analysis teachers, provided basic income tax preparation with electronic filing for low to moderate income families in Laredo. The students earned their IRS certification by completing an online course and passing several exams. From Martin High School, we have the following students: Oscar Flores, Aaron Geraldo, Thalia Lara, Cassandra Medina, and Arturo Salazar. And these students from Martin are here with their teacher, Ricardo Rodriguez, and school principal Guillermo Pro. Also joining us is career and technical director, Rogelio Garcia. Also from Martin High School is their assistant principal, Dr. Elias Alonso.
Okay, one, two, three.
From Nixon High School, students as Vida volunteers included Amanda Esteves, Carla Garcia, Diana Ibarra, Melissa Marin, Jesus Ortiz, Karen Rivas, and Jennifer Torres. Their teacher is Elvia Boyles, and their school principal is Dr. Gerardo Cruz.
Okay, ready? One, two, three.
Thank you, Nixon. From Cigarroa High School, students in the Vida program are Andres Castañeda, David Castañeda, Karen Castillo, Berta Gallegos, Claudia Lara, Lian Lozano, Sofía Medina, Rosa Renovato, Desiree Rios, Keanu Suarez, Matilda Beliz, Pedro Zuniga, and Flor Renovato. Here with the students is their teacher, Diana Cantu, and vice principal, Armando Molina.
One, two, three. Thank you.
Thank you to all our Vida volunteers. Next, we are pleased to recognize 12 innovative teachers for being named tech-savvy teachers. These teachers each display innovation and effectiveness in enhancing the learning process for students with technology in the classrooms. Receiving recognition as tech-savvy teachers tonight are from Heights Elementary School, Ms. Marta Vela. From Cigarroa Middle School, Ms. Delia Bagona. Also joining us up front is Ms. Lizzie Garcia Sandoval. From Martin High School, Ms. Maria Galvan. From DDHR Elementary School, Javier Cisneros. From Lamar Middle, Cynthia Bolaños. Representing the Trevino Magnet School, Mr. Mark Weber. From Zachary Elementary, Cecilia Alvarez. From Kristen Middle School, Matthew Camina. From Nixon High School, Itzel Hinojosa. Another tech-savvy teacher, Gallego Elementary Schools, Vanessa Hernandez. Sarah Bustamante from Lamar Middle School. And Jose Hernandez of Nixon High School. I'd like to take a good group picture of this group. Tech-savvy teachers will move over here to the center. Go ahead. You can see everybody. Congratulations to our tech-savvy teachers. Well done. Also this evening, we have two extraordinary principals leading the way with technology integration at their schools. Principals were selected based on their visionary leadership, their digital age culture, and excellence in technology implementation practices. And we have one elementary and one secondary principal who are going to receive the honor of being Technology Principals of the Year. Our Technology Principal of the Year for elementary schools, from Ligarde Elementary School, Ms. Rosalba Martinez. Our secondary schools Technology Principal of the Year from Nixon High School, Dr. Gerardo Cruz. Congratulations, Ms. Martinez and Dr. Cruz. Next, LISD congratulates the top Accelerated Reader students district-wide for their participation in the annual Accelerated Reader program. Joining us up front is our head librarian, Ms. Meli Pais, and our executive director for curriculum and instruction, Dr. Silvia Rios. We begin with, from Santa Maria Elementary School, a first grader with 647.7 points, Gabriel Benavides. From Santa Maria Elementary School, a first grader with 647.7 points, Gabriel Benavides. From Nixon High School, a first grader with 647.7 points, Gabriel Benavides. From Nixon High School, a first grader with 647.7 points, Gabriel Benavides. From Nixon High School, a first grader with 647.7 points, Gabriel Benavides. From Nixon High School, a first grader with 647.7 points, Gabriel Benavides. From Nixon High School, a first grader with 647.7 points, Gabriel Benavides. From Nixon High School, a first grader with 647.7 points, Gabriel Benavides. From Nixon High School, a first grader with 647.7 points, Gabriel Benavides. From Nixon High School, a first grader with 647.7 points, Gabriel Benavides. From Congratulations, Gabriel. Gabriel, stay close by because we're going to do a group shot at the end of our accelerated readers. Now, we're moving on to our second grader from Alma Pierce Elementary School with 626.6 points, Mia Medina. Among those joining Mia is her school principal, Noralba Johnson, the librarian, Laura Chapa, and assistant principal, Mike Chapa. Good job, Mia. Our top third grader with 633.9 points from Santa Maria Elementary School, Pablo Guzman. I know Ms. School Librarian Elizabeth Salinas and all her staff work very hard to promote reading at her campus. Our top fourth grader is from Milton Elementary School with 846.7 points, Fernando Garcia. With Milton Principal Leticia Martinez and the librarian Ana Laura Chapa. Fernando is the top elementary school accelerated reader in all of LISD with 846.7 points. That's a lot of reading.
Three, two, one.
Our top fifth grader is also from Milton Elementary School with 733.1 points. We have Jesus Espinosa. And our top sixth grader from Lamar Middle School with 508.7 points, Noel Ayala from Lamar Middle School. Here with Noel is his principal, Margarita Taboada, and school librarian, Vanessa Núñez. The top seventh grader is also from Lamar Middle School with 870.2 points, Angel Rios. And our very best top middle school accelerated reader is from Memorial Middle School with 1,179.3 points. From Memorial Middle School, we have Miss Kimberly Martinez. Joining Kimberly is School Assistant Principal Miss Silvia Cantu and their librarian Norma Gonzalez. That's a lot of points, Miss Kimberly. Congratulations. Super reader. Now we are going to recognize 24 of our high school band members for performing and receiving first division ratings at the state solo and ensemble contest that was held in Austin on May the 31st. Receiving first division ratings are the following students: Jonathan Martinez, who plays the trumpet at Cigarroa High School. Mr. David Garza, our Fine Arts Director, can you join us up front? And Ms. Maggie Martinez, our Executive Director of Student Services, and the Band Director at Cigarroa High School, Mr. Servando Serna. From Martin High School, French horn player, we have Travis Elias, who is here with his band director, Mr. Bobby Castro, and school vice principal, Dr. Elias Alonso. Next, we also have from Martin High School, trumpet player, Mr. Mario Valle. Also from Martin High School, we have the Woodwind Quintet. We have Alexis Rosales, Jay Lopez, Diana Arredondo, Eliud Soto, and Lisette Escalera. It's a woodwind quintet from Martin High. And also from Martin High School, we have the clarinet choir, which includes Montserrat Meneses, Ángela Liendo, Melanie Castillo, Jose Ruiz, Hector Rodriguez, Cynthia Gutierrez, Arisbet Mora, Alexis Rosales, Arely Castro, Jessica Gutierrez, and Jacqueline Cabral. That's the clarinet choir from Martin High School. Thank you, Tigers. From Cigarroa High School, we have the Brass Quartet under the direction of Servando Serna. And this includes the following students: Jonathan Martinez, Isaías Alcorta, Christian Mendez, and Luis Frausto. Joining their band director, Mr. Serna, is their vice principal, Mr. Armando Molina. And also from Cigarroa High School, we have their snare drummer with a first division rating, Mr. Emilio De Leon. Congratulations to all of our musicians. And in conclusion, we have our two schools with the top daily student attendance this year. We would like to honor these two campuses for consistently meeting the district's goals on daily students' attendance during this past school year. Congratulations to the Early College High School for maintaining a 97.99% rate on their daily students' attendance. It's 97.9. Representing the Early College is their principal, Mr. Israel Castilla. Next, we have from J.C. Martin Elementary School and their principal, Delma Alanis Ramos. J.C. Martin Elementary School maintained a 98.7% daily student attendance rate during this past school year. Ms. Delma Alanis Ramos. Congratulations to both campuses for making sure that kids come to school every day. And board members, Dr. Nelson, this concludes tonight's board recognitions. Very happy for you.
Retira.
I could let the meeting start with that.
Thank you very much, sir, for being here with us. Congratulations.
Pásale, Tito.
Congratulations again. Good job. Nice to connect. Man, I'm gonna go to the back row.
We'll continue with our meeting. Public forum. We have Mr. René de la Viña with TSTA.
Thank you. Good evening, honorable board members, Dr. Nelson. For the record, René de la Viña, TSTA, Laredo United TSTA President. I just wanted to mention item number 9. We're behind that. We think y'all should go from $7.25, which is minimum wage, to $9 an hour. I believe our employees, they deserve that. I mean, try cutting the grass outside at 106-degree weather. It's very difficult, and I believe they deserve that little raise. Anything you can do to help, we're very grateful. You've always been there for the employees, and I know you always will be. And last but not least, I just want to mention that I would like to recognize these individuals that have made it. We've always been able to work out where we don't have to. We try not to take it to grievance levels when we have a complaint or a concern. And I just want to recognize Mr. Angel Velasquez, Ms. Edna Garza, and Ms. Bobby Ramirez. Whenever we have an issue or a concern, usually lately I've been able, and all this year and last year, I've been able to sit down with them and talk to them and try to work it out at the lowest level. And we've been very, very successful. So, I just wanted to thank them very much for always being there. Also, Ms. Maggie Martinez has always been there. Dr. Rios has always been there. Whenever I have a concern, these people are these very professional people are very user-friendly. And also Ms. Castillon, Veronica Castillon, whenever I have some questions, she's always very supportive and is always willing to help out. And I just want to recognize these very, very professional individuals. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, that takes us to board communications. Mr. Perez?
I just want to congratulate the honoree tonight, Mr. Gabriel Lopez, our honoree, and congratulate all the students, teachers that were here tonight and had that recognition. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Mr. Garcia?
I also want to echo what Mr. Pettis said, but I also want to congratulate all our kids that graduated this year. I want to thank all the teachers that worked real hard to make sure that they graduated. Got a lot of more things to do at the school district, but I see that the superintendent is guiding us in the right direction. There's little hiccups in the way, but we're going the right way, and I congratulate him. I look forward to the summer, making sure all our kids are safe and they come back healthy and ready for another school year. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Noyola.
I just would like to wish all LISD students and teachers a safe, happy, and healthy summer. Thank you.
And I would like to say that we attended the graduations, and they were all very impressive. The students and the parents made us feel very, very proud. All presentations were excellent, and it was just really a beautiful thing to see. So congratulations to everybody. Mr. Martinez.
Yes, I want to thank the administration also for doing a good job this year. It's very, very hard to be in the schools and to be leaders here from the central office. Assistant principals especially, they do a lot of work, very dedicated. We have a lot of excellent professionals that do an excellent job in the schools. So congratulations and thank you for doing a great job and for dedicating yourself to our schools.
Mr. Garza?
Yes, thank you. I'd like to echo the sentiments of the rest of the board on everybody having a great summer. I was surprised to see that many kids out here. Obviously, after this, they're gone. So I appreciate everything that the school district is doing for the kids. I think we increased the level of participation as far as summer camps and everything that's going to go on this summer. I applaud you for that. With all of you who put the graduations together, excellent job. Again, did a great job with that. Mr. De La Viña, thank you for recognizing, a lot of times we don't get to hear everything that goes on behind the scenes, so thank you for bringing that up. It helps us understand what's going on behind the scenes. Sometimes we don't get to hear everything, and when somebody does a good job, we'd like to pat them in the back and tell them, good job, and move forward. And as you know, we've been talking about this past month about teamwork and everything that has to be done with that. And for all of you who know me, Dr. Rios, you might not know this, but I recommend a summer reading for all administrators and teachers to go out there and read. That puts me somewhere in the same line of thinking. So this year's book is Sebastian Junger's The Tribe. So for all of you that are taking score out there, please read it for the summer. We will quiz you at the end of the year. And for everybody else, take stock in what you did, please, this year. Find out what you did good. Give yourself a self-audit. Self-evaluate yourselves and find out where you were strong and where you were weak. Don't allow anybody else to evaluate you. Understand where your weaknesses are and your strengths are and move forward with it. That's what this book is probably going to teach you. So thanks again for everything and have a great summer.
Thank you. Mr. Valdez.
Yes, I want to congratulate all the students and the teachers and their sponsors who were recognized today, especially those that came from Santa Maria. I thought that was quite unique, you know, little boys there.
Top students.
Reminds me of my own little kids. I had one in there who was like a nerd, you know, but they're smart kids. I also want to congratulate Mr. Hector Noyola. He was just elected to the International Sports Hall of Fame, and it's quite an honor here.
Thank you.
My grandkids almost lived in the Northwest Boys Club when they were smaller, so I know the activities that are carried on in there. They're great, and it was very well-deserved recognition. The teachers and the sponsors of the clubs and organizations that are going on right now in the summer, I think we're starting also the swimming right now. All of that is very, very impressive. And I know we're going to leave a mark in the community this year as we have every year. So again, congratulations to everybody that has been doing such a great job. As far as those things that go on behind, you know, just keep them to yourself. Give us the good news. Thank you, Mr. De La Viña. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Do we have anything on committee meeting reports, Dr. Nelson?
No, Dr. Moreno, we submitted the minutes, and if there's, it's at everyone's docket, and so unless there's any comments or questions, we're prepared to move past that agenda item.
Okay, so our next item is under consent agenda. We have items number 1 and 2.
I move to approve.
Second?
We have a motion and a second to approve items 1 and 2. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Vote to approve.
I have a question on 3A.
Okay.
So do I take my
Vote
question now, or?
to approve 3A to 3E.
Okay, except I have a question on 3A.
Yeah, for discussion.
Yes, for discussion. I submitted a budget amendment for 3A, and I know it's not in there, so who tells the board that we can't have a budget amendment from our discretionary funds?
Oh, we're going to bring it in July.
What's that, trustees?
So if I
You wanna
turned it
make
in...
you want to add it right now?
I'd rather add it in now, yes. $5,000.
Absolutely. So it is $500?
5,000
$5,000 for
central office to be able to carry out the activities at
for
the
staff
beginning of the year.
development? And that would bring the total on this amendment for the record to $16,185.
Yes.
Quick question, is my $5,000 for that same thing in there? No? It's not in there either?
Yours, there's
you-
one in there, but it's...
We got a
It's
sponsor
okay.
for that cost. We got a sponsor for that cost.
So we have enough for the 6, we can do the 16. So whatever I had balance, I moved it to, for your also conference too. You can do it in July?
We can.
Okay,
Yes.
that's fine.
On the
Okay,
discretionary.
so with the amendment that has just been recommended for 3A, we have a motion to accept 3A, 3B, 3C, 3D, and 3E. Do we have a second on that?
Yeah, second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Vote to approve 4A to 4E.
We
I
have
have a
a,
question for you.
okay, we have a motion, and do we have a second?
Second.
And a second, okay. And then we have a question on 4E.
Did we look into that?
Yes, we're getting 2 vehicles.
And
That was the
spread?
question. Yes, one now and one at the new budget.
All right.
Okay,
Thank
so, question has been answered. We have a motion and we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Vote to approve 5A to 5I.
Second?
We have a motion and a second, 5A through 5I. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Vote to accept number 6 through 18 to approve.
Move to approve number 6 through 18.
Question of 12.
Right. Pull it.
Dr. Nelson.
If you don't mind, Dr. Moreno, we'd like to pull item number 12 and have discussion on it, and then ask the board to consider taking action.
Okay, so let's vote on 6 through 16, no, 6 through 18, with the exception of 12.
Second.
We have a motion and a second? Yes, okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item number 12.
Item number 12 is discussion and possible action to approve the Assistant Athletic Coordinator stipends for the 2016-2017 school year at an estimated cost of $15,000. Want to apologize to the board. We did discuss this at our business support meeting on Thursday, and staff has figured the numbers, and we'd like to recommend Assistant Athletic Coordinator stipends for $18,000, or excuse me, $24,000, which would be $8,000 for each comprehensive high school.
With 3.
So you're increasing it from 15 to 18?
Yes.
From 5 to 8 per.
For each person. So it'll be a total of $24,000 impact on the budget. We recommend approval.
So we have a motion and a second. Is there any
We
discussion?
discussed that up to 18?
We did.
Any discussion?
Call for the question.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. That takes us to item number 19. Discussion and action to direct the superintendent to begin the planning process for consideration to have the Health Science Magnet School become an early college with Laredo Community College. And is there Any question on that? I'm sorry about that, Tom. We've been looking at the possibility of making Martin High School's early college, early college let's go back. We've been looking at the possibilities of making Martin High School's health science magnet an early college program with Laredo Community College. Is there any comments or?
Yes, this will be both academic and vocational courses, or just academic, like we have in the early college?
This would have to be like we have in the early college, where you can get your English and you can get your academic piece, your math? Both. So it would have to be similar to what we now have,
It's a high
but
school
it is joined in with
fine.
Laredo Community College. And the group of students will be coming from the Health Science Magnet School.
Yes, but the early college that we have with MU is only for academic courses. And now we're going to have both academic and vocational courses.
Plan a whole high school.
It is possible, and that's part of what the committee that puts this together will have to develop the process.
It's not on you, okay.
No, right now, this is to direct the superintendent to start the process, get a committee planning what is appropriate. Is it appropriate to have two tracks? You know, those who want to graduate and have a 2-year certificate?
Academic, right.
And is
Some
it
more
appropriate to have those who want to go into a 4-year health career?
We're going to take advantage of the programs at LCC.
Right.
Then my question is this going to focus, are these kids going to focus, because I think it's a great idea if we're coordinated with a college, if they're going into the nursing field, where they graduate high school and they're already halfway through their nursing.
That should be one of the programs
I know Mr. Martinez has talked
accepted
about
in
that. You know what, get them ready. If that's what they're going to do it with the junior college. So when they actually finish their senior year, they already did half of their
Associates.
and they're ready to go.
And they might be able to do all of their associates.
All of their associates, and they graduate
Yes.
with both, and it's a win-win situation.
Well, we just want to be clear, we fully endorse this idea. Anything we can do to support our health science magnet, this is definitely a step in the right direction. We do want to be clear that we're actually looking to apply for 2 early college high schools with the state of Texas. One of them being the Jose A. Valdez
Okay.
Non-Traditional School, and that's with LCC as well. So we'll be bringing evidence of planning on both of those programs.
Right, we just want to keep in mind that
Separately.
there's a deadline and that everything has to be submitted to the state by December.
Yeah, there's a big conference in August 5th and 6th, that we're going to send a group to, and we'll be ready to meet the deadlines.
Also, the engineering school is also important, and there will be some academic courses there that could be focused. We might want to think of building an academy at the whole district with all these programs that we have, and then make the academy, for the academic or the 3 or 4 programs that we have within our magnet schools.
Yes, sir, that's something we'll
Instead of
review.
just one.
We'll review that as part of our plan, and we'll bring all that back to the board.
Okay, thank you.
I think it's important that we have a committee and that we are able, through the curriculum committee, to have feedback monthly on the process, what's going on, how much they've moved forward.
Starting in July.
Right, having assigned the committee members. Mr. Valdez?
Yes, your committees right now really deal with the operations. What you need here is a special committee. No, we're dealing only with this matter.
Well, I was thinking that this is going to belong with the curriculum committee because it is about the instructional program. But what we're asking is that there be a committee of staff members who are going to be doing the work, talking to the teachers and definitely talking to the early college about what has made it successful, what things should be definitely in there.
Yes. We understand.
Well, so the guidelines are
Mr.
going to, when are the guidelines going to come in for that?
They-
Probably
Be part of the
before
plan.
August?
Yes. We'll have a draft.
You're
We'll have
not
a
looking at
draft.
this for 2016-17.
No.
Well, you have to apply in 2016. You find out in 2017 if you get
That
it.
you're that you've named. Mr. Noyola?
No, that was my question. When is the starting date for this?
It would have to be the following year, but you have to submit to the state for
In the fall.
approval by December of this year.
Yeah, by December, I think.
And prioritize with the nursing, and then, because I think sometimes they won't let you application, so.
So it'll be
You
17,
gotta see
18.
what's more important, and then second and third, and take it like that.
Yes, sir.
Well, we
Yes.
don't need to, we can have our students taking dual credit courses right now. We don't even need to go through this, but this is a little bit more planned.
But
Well,
actually, doing a program with LCC, not eliminating, but being more focused on the nursing program that we have at Martin, that they're more involved in doing this than what we're doing at Martin High School, to straighten up that, 'cause I think it needs a lot of, it needs a little strength
Structure.
on that area.
But if I understand correctly here, what we're going to do is prepare our students to have a certain number of college
Before they graduate.
credits before they graduate.
For the
Okay, so
nursing
they've got to go over and above or more than just
We're
nursing.
being specific
Within
about some of
history,
the
math, y todo eso.
expectations.
Right.
The expectations for the schools is
And
really
what I
the
was saying is you
specific
can do that right now without having an early college type of program. No, it's up to us. We don't have to wait for all of this. Okay? That's a little bit different. But we can do that right now. As a matter of fact, we've been having
Dual credit.
dual credit courses for a
Right.
long time.
With both
What we need to
schools
do is
already.
increase them, put them in a more categorical order.
Well, that's what we're going to
but
do,
that's-
bring
that's up to us.
structure into the
Okay.
opportunities that
Yeah.
exist.
And that's what we were saying also with the engineering, instead of keeping it there in a little corner. Let's bring it up, just like we're doing with the
I
health.
think that once we do one, that we can do the other. I'd hate to
Well,
suggest two or three, and then we get
The only
zero.
thing about the engineering magnet, I'm not sure if Mr. Gus Pettis is here, but, health science with LCC is clearly articulated already with LCC Fort McIntosh. For Figueroa to develop an early college high school, I currently don't see the opportunities for rigorous courses at LCC South that are in the engineering field.
No.
That'll be part of our review. We'll go look at it, but I'm just saying, health science magnet under the direction of Ms. Arredondo, they already do dual credit with LCC, so expanding that, Jose Valdez, they already do dual credit with LCC, so those will
They're
be
doing it, yeah.
very
But let me tell you this
reasonable.
now, through the Vero academic system, you can take courses in any place in the United States right now. There will be, most of them will be accepted here. So you do have accessibility to engineering courses. And then again,
That's true. Online.
you're not going to graduate engineers in our magnet school, okay? That also has to be clarified. We need a little bit more education, information on that. That's not the objective, to have engineers coming out of there or nurses coming out of our high school. What we want to do is make sure that we prepare them to go into those fields and where they will have a chance to succeed.
So currently, we're looking at the health science magnet school.
Está bien.
Working with Laredo Community College. I did make a motion that we approve this, and did I get a second?
Yes,
And we have a
May I
motion and a
just,
second, Mr. Martinez.
Yes, just, somebody said something about the science magnet school at Martin High School. It is not part of Martin High School. This magnet school is LISD magnet school, okay? And that's what we need to specify. The engineering, VMT, and this, science magnet school, they're all part of LISD and should be autonomous. And we talked about this before.
Yes, sir.
And we'll see what we can do also. Maybe that committee can start looking into that, be autonomous and go directly to LCC with them.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next item.
That brings us to our internal auditor agenda items. Item number 20 is discussion and update on the duties of the internal auditor, including ongoing audits, possible closed session, pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.074, subsection A, subsection 1. Ms. Henry?
Yes, good evening, board members. Dr. Nelson, the following is my report for the month. The audits that have been completed is a special request on Caguas Elementary School on inappropriate fundraising, a special request from the principal on Cigarroa High School campus and student activity funds, and an anonymous report on DDHR Elementary School on PTC fundraising. Currently in progress is a special request from Mr. Garcia on Milton Elementary School on attendance, and an anonymous report on Division of Operations on time clock.
I just want to add that in any of these reports, if we identify some things that need to be worked on, that those are the ones that we should continue to do follow-up audits on them until they can give you 100% compliance.
Sure.
Actually, on that, we did discuss that last year, and we brought it, I think after she writes the report, it goes back to admin to make sure that all the recommendations are followed through. By the way, those 3 reports were excellent. It goes to show that, this department right here is not a negative for us. It's actually a positive. I saw some of the wording that you put in there that's actually going to get some of these places, some of these programs better off because of the work that you did. So I'd like to commend you for that. But now I think we never resolved the complete issue as to who takes over the actual recommendation part that you do. In other words, you've come up with this, the complete audit and then the recommendations. And if those recommendations per policies and procedures, most of them were failures in policies and procedures, as had been the theme this year. So now it is up to who? The administrators or the principal in that particular school to take over those policies and procedures to make sure that they're followed down the line.
It depends on the case. For example, on DDHR, it would be both the principal and then upper administration, Dr. Grios or
Okay.
the elementary.
Okay, so that everybody's well aware that that's the way it works. And the reason I'm asking you, so we can say it out loud here, that you've done your job. You've brought it out into the open, and you said these policies and procedures were not followed. This is who it's up to you, and so it won't be a waste of time. You've already done it. It would be a shame for it not to be followed anymore. So, but you've done your job. So I'm just wanting to say that whoever's responsible up to that point, who picks up the ball and runs with it after that?
I think we have a situation that's a little bit more serious here. Maybe we should discuss this in executive session.
You want to go to executive session?
On this part.
Mr. Perez?
Yes, we're receiving those anonymous calls. What percentage of those anonymous calls are true of what they're telling you? You go in there, you just follow it like a wild goose chase, because they're anonymous. But are you finding out that what they tell you is what is happening?
Yes, sir. Based on the information that's presented, I base myself on that. I do present some of it to the superintendent, and based on the documentation or the information that is presented, then depending on that, then I go back to the area, depending on the whether it's a campus or a department. All the information that they give me, then I present it to like I said, I present it to the superintendent. If it's concrete enough, then I go to the area.
So then it goes to oversight after that. We need to either to have some sort of oversight committee on how we're going to apply whatever the recommendations did, because I don't know, we're going to be going in circles that we say, okay, every audit that you perform this year, I want you to do a follow-up next summer.
Well, a follow-up is always part of the process.
Right.
That's standard
But
procedure.
I haven't seen anything to say, 1 year, 360 days later, we're doing good here. They've been following it. It's not until the bomb blows up again that we go, well, let's go look at it again. And so that's why I'm thinking that there's a gap in those policies and procedures, that, whether or not student services takes over this process, curriculum takes over this process, operations takes over this process, who is it, and is it lined up perfectly to get it done, so that they can report on that after 6 months or 10 months or a year, so that we won't have to go through the processes of an audit again, unless that's what the board desires, which is, I don't have a problem with it. I just want to find out if there's any oversight and follow-through on this. Well, because now we're just spinning our wheels.
Dr. Nelson?
The answer to the trustee Garza's question is absolutely yes. With all due respect to the internal auditor, I thought that all of the anonymous complaints that you received, we spoke about. You mentioned that sometimes you do. And I think that, to clarify, each time the internal audit department receives an anonymous complaint, we have some type of conversation. Sometimes it's just her receiving an email on our anonymous system and her forwarding it to me without saying, we don't even talk about it. Even those get follow-up. If it says, this employee is a bad employee, this employee is doing this employee is that, and we take each allegation and we ask ourselves, does it rise to the level of investigation? Now, if it's just, I don't like this person, we have a conversation with human resources and we move forward. If it's something about fraud or any type of fiscal impropriety, I would say, and we can double check this just in an abundance of caution, every time that's come, we've audited it. There's never been a case where, hey, I heard this, it's anonymous, and because it's anonymous, if it's about money, we didn't do it. I say that in open record because you got to look at each of them now. I don't want to start naming employees in open session, but there's sometimes it doesn't say there's money missing. It doesn't say there's been fraud or any type of, it just says, I don't like this person. And so because that's anonymous, I don't want to mislead you. There's not a whole lot of follow-up to those two sentences, but if in those two sentences it says, I don't like this person, and here's what this person's doing, that gets checked.
Yeah.
And it's, even if it's anonymous. So the other thing I wanted to really be sure to clarify with the board is that once I agree with you about the quality of the internal audit reports, and the process is very clear. Each employee that is audited by the internal auditor is allowed, invited, I want to say mandated to respond, at least invited to respond, and that's included in the report. After everything has been completed and it's been presented to the board, that's when we review it and determine disciplinary action. Disciplinary action has a whole host of options. And so there is follow-up. Even after disciplinary action is taken, it's my understanding that the internal audit department will go back and review reports that were done. So it's a cycle that never ends. I want to say, for the record, I know our chief financial officer would agree, we also get complaints about fraud and ethical violations that, with all due respect to our internal auditor, they don't start there. They start in finance. Mm-hmm. Those get the same investigation as if it was an anonymous report. So we can communicate with the board as much as you like. Most of it is personnel. But we can update the board because we want to be abundantly clear that fraud and corruption is something that we're seeking. We're trying to find it so that we can eradicate it from our system. So.
The other side to that matter is the consequences of habitually auditing some certain processes and procedures, or fundraising activity or anything like that at a particular school. It's a constant. The point that I'm trying to make is that at the end of the day, is anybody held accountable for what happened? And then you just said yes. Does that get followed up? I mean, does the board, are we ever going to hear a thumbs up, we took care of it, everything went through the follow-through process, everything ended up balancing out, we all did what we needed to do? That we have a checks and balances system, that it started and it ended, and that case is completely closed and we move on to the next one.
I believe we do an excellent job of that. We don't always communicate the discipline to the internal audit department or even to finance, because if it's something in the form of a reprimand, a demotion. In my opinion, as you said so well, the Internal Audit Department has done their job effectively. They've prepared the report. Now, going into discipline, that moves into a different department. And we can discuss those as much as we need to, because we want the board to have comfort that things are being addressed, but it is personnel, so it'd be inappropriate to talk about any specific example in open
Mr.
session.
Valdez?
Yeah. Nobody's saying that somebody took anything. What the reports say is that so much money was made, recorded, and not the same amount was deposited in the bank, okay? Maybe it just walked away. I don't know, okay? But it's saying those things. Now, maybe what needs to be done is somebody needs to be given more special training or counseling or whatever. But those reports say something, okay? And the issue here is not what the auditor did. As a matter of fact, she did a great job. That has already been concluded here.
Absolutely.
All right, now we're dealing with the findings. She's not the one that is being looked at here.
So at some
It's the
point...
findings themselves.
at
I don't know, have you read those findings? There are
Yes.
some repeats in there.
At some point, do we ever ask the police department to investigate?
Absolutely.
No, there's no need to investigate anymore.
Absolutely.
It's clear,
Just
now it's
in the last 30 days.
Now
Yes.
it's in the superintendent's department, okay?
We had-
It's no longer in her department. She went out there, audited,
And that,
put the
her
facts
reports-
together as she saw them,
We-
and that's it. Now it's in your department.
Yes, sir. Respectfully, we had an allegation of corruption and fraud in one of our departments, and it didn't even go through child nutrition. I'm trying to not say the name. It didn't even go through internal audit. And it involved the police, it involved surveillance, it involved a bunch of other very sensitive matters where we were trying to we have been able to confirm fraudulent activity. And so I just want to be clear that we can talk about this with the board as much as you'd like to discuss, but it's moving every day and it happens, and so you kind of have to take it case by case.
Okay. So we've covered item 20.
I would like to thank Ms. Hendry for your good work and your dedication. Your audits are impressive. Thank you.
Anything else on 20?
No.
Item 21, Dr.
Oh, wait a
Nelson?
minute, is this sorry about that.
Discussion and update on the
Yeah,
duties.
it's just that I read something else on this, hold on.
Okay, Dr. Nelson,
Item number
21?
21 is discussion and possible action on the duties and responsibilities of the internal auditor as assigned by the Board of Trustees, including the potential assignment of auditing duties. Possible closed session pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.074, subsection A, subsection 1. Are there any duties that the board would like to?
I'd like to request one with regards to our general construction processes and procedures at operations. Do you want me to go into the detail of it? But I'd like to make a general statement behind it. I'd like to find out from 2010 to 2016, aside from the major contracts that we've issued, let's say I need a list of general contractors that have gotten work since 2010, the timelines that we were using, start dates, finish dates, start dates and finish dates that were required, and construction amounts and end construction amounts.
And if you can send it to her in writing, it'll help
Actually,
her.
to protect the integrity of the audit, I feel like I have an understanding specifically of what Trustee Garza and I had a chance to visit about this, and I think I can add to the investigation that will point us to bring a report back to the board that's what he's looking for.
Again, it's not anything that I'm looking at particularly. I'm just looking at the success rate that we're having. I think we're very high on it.
The awarding of contracts, which is very auditable. Right.
Item 22?
Item number 22, that brings us to our closed session items. So the first one to be discussed in closed session is item 22, discussion and possible action regarding the Level 3 grievance of Gabriel Pantoja and Armando Reynosa, including discussion with legal counsel regarding related legal issues, possible closed session pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.071, subsection 1 and 2, 551.074, and 551.082, subsection A, subsection 2. Also in closed session, we'd like to discuss item number 23, discussion and possible action regarding the potential acquisition of real property, possible closed session pursuant to Texas Government Code Sections 551.072. We would like to withdraw item number 24. It's actually going to be discussed under item number 26. Item number 25 to be discussed in closed session is discussion and possible action to approve the recommendation to hire the following professional positions, possible closed session pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.074. The first position will be Director of Maintenance and Operations. The next position will be Elementary School Principal. And the third position will be Graphics and Publications Designer. And we'll be asking to table indefinitely the middle school principal position. And then our final item for closed session is discussion and possible, item number 26, discussion and possible action regarding personnel matters, including the proposed terminations of teachers on term or continuing contracts, and including discussion with legal counsel regarding related legal issues. Possible closed session pursuant to Texas Government Code Sections 551.074, subsection A, and 551.071, subsection 1, and subsection 2. And Trustee Valdez, I'm not sure if you wanted to discuss internal audit in closed session?
The what?
The internal audit investigations?
Why not?
If so, if we could add that agenda item, which would be item number 20, which is, yes, item number 20 to be discussed in closed session, is discussion and update on the duties of the internal auditor, including ongoing audits. Possible closed session. We recommend closed session at this time.
I move that we go into closed session.
We have a motion
Second.
and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. It is 6:55 PM.
It's cold in there.
Cold.
So we are back from executive session. Time is 8:04. No action was taken, no votes were cast. Dr. Nelson?
Thank you, Dr. Moreno. That brings us to item number 25.
We have,
I don't think there's action for any
No
of the
action
other.
was taken on 25.
There's
On
no
24.
action on 20, 22, 23, or 24.
Okay.
24
Can we
was
vote
withdrawn.
do we vote to non-action those, or what?
no action
There's
is
no action.
no
All right.
action,
Oh, no
period.
So item number 25 is discussion and possible action to approve the recommendation to hire the following professional positions. The first position is Director of Maintenance and Operations. I'd like to recommend Feliciano Garcia for the position.
So moved.
I will,
We
second.
have a motion and a second to accept Feliciano Garcia for the position of Director of Maintenance and Operations. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
I'd also like to announce that we have an elementary school principal who is requested to become an assistant principal this next year. So we're announcing at this point, Mrs. Letty Martinez will be assistant principal will be an assistant principal in the district next year. Which brings me to my next agenda item, elementary school principal. We actually have 2 positions open now based on that transfer. The first position will be for Didi Achad Elementary. I'd like to recommend Mrs. Cynthia Villarreal for the position.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to accept Cynthia Villarreal as principal for DDHR Elementary. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
She here?
Mrs. Villarreal is here.
All right, it's one of my schools, it better be good.
She will be. Then for Milton Elementary, I'd like to recommend Mrs. Flor Diaz for the position.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to accept Flor Diaz as a recommendation for elementary principal for Milton Elementary. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
She is not here.
Okay.
That brings us to the next position in the Office of Communications. We have the position of Graphics Publications Designer. We would like to recommend Mrs. Glenda Flores for the position.
So move.
Second.
We have a recommendation and a second on Glenda Flores for Graphics Publications Designer. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
She here? No.
She is not here. That concludes our agenda items for possible action. That brings us to, we have one other agenda item, item number 26, discussion and possible action regarding personnel matters, including the proposed terminations of teachers on term or continuing contracts, and including discussion with legal counsel. We are not needing to terminate any contracts because the employee resigned this afternoon, and we have one other piece of action that needs to happen under this agenda item, and we'll allow the board to consider action.
I move that we rescind the termination of Mr. Luis Rodriguez's employment and accept his resignation of employment from the district, and to resolve this proposed termination under the conditions discussed in closed session.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
May we go to communications?
Yes, communications.
Mrs. Castillo?
Yes, sir. Good evening, board members and Dr. Nelson. LISD's first summer production of You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown will be shown at the Trevino Magnet School Auditorium from Thursday, June the 23rd through Sunday, June the 26th. A budget workshop is scheduled for Monday, June the 27th at 5:30 p.m. here in the Erie Boardroom. LISD offices will be closed from Monday, July the 4th through Friday, July the 8th, and offices will reopen on Monday, July the 11th, which is Flor Ayala's birthday.
Okay, we'll wait till next month.
Upon our return from our summer break, we have a Student Services Committee meeting on Monday, July the 11th at 11 a.m. We have two meetings on Tuesday, July the 12th, a Curriculum and Instruction Committee meeting at 9 a.m. and an Operations Committee meeting at 5:15 p.m. We also have a special call meeting tentatively planned for Wednesday, July 13th at 5:15. And on Thursday, July 14th, we have two committee meetings. We have a Health Insurance Committee at 5:15 p.m. and Business and Support Services Committee at 5:30 p.m. The regular board meeting is scheduled for Thursday, July 21st at 5:30 p.m. We also want to wish all of our fathers on the board Happy Father's Day. That is all we have for now.
And grandfather.
I move that we adjourn.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.